Hey, what's up, fight fans? As you know, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn have just finished, and what an amazing fight that was. And honestly, that is one of the best fights I have experienced this year. And when I say the best fight, I mean it's up there if you consider Bivol versus Beterbiev. And this fight actually gave me the same feeling because that was jam-packed with action and every fighter wanted to win this fight. And as you know, the best man won. And obviously there's a lot to talk about, but some of the things that I really wanted to focus on was Conor Benn's faith, or just him believing that he can beat Chris Eubank Jr. And now thinking about it, I feel like as promoters, we need to tell our fighters the truth. And let me tell you this. So if you really watch the fight, every odd was against Chris Eubank Jr. We're talking about, number one, the egg slapped. He had to pay 100k. Was that fair? I don't know. You tell me. I want to know your ringside opinions in the comments. Number two, Chris had to come and say, hey, the people from the last undercard, no one really did anything, so I'm going to spend 50k to give them some money, which was a very good gesture. And one of the things that I didn't like is that Eddie was like, well, he's doing this for attention. Whether he did that for attention or he did that in his goodwill, I just like that people go paid, because most people don't really talk about undercard, and honestly, they don't really even get paid that much money anyway. Another thing that went on was the whole rehydration thing and cutting weight, and he's over the limits by just a couple of grams, and he's now have to pay 300k, or let's just say $500,000. Again, that is crazy, because in my opinion, I feel like they could have given him more time to just go and have a dookie in the toilet, and then he would come back and that would be sorted. But hey, no. But that was not all. There was also, the ring has to be 18 foot for some reason, because Conor did not want Chris Eubank Jr. to move that much. And as you can see, the reason why he did not want him to move that much, because they thought Chris was going to be very powerless, rehydrated, and basically that weight cut was going to have an effect on his performance. Hence why they did not want Chris Eubank Jr. to have the biggest ring. But hey, we'll talk about that later. Also, there were so many other things, such as the glove that they had to use. Conor asked for everything that would give him an edge to win this fight, but oh man, he was wrong. And another thing that I actually noticed is that this guy was overconfident. It's almost like he had the answer to the fight already. It's almost like he knew, I am going to win no matter what. Obviously, big up to Conor and Nigel Benn Senior, because he came and told us everything about sparring with William School. My son did this, my son put it on him, and that was great. But also, I did like Chris Eubank Jr.'s composure. He was like, hey, great story, that's not going to do anything. Obviously, after that, and there's so many other issues that we didn't know that we are going to find out later when Chris Eubank Jr. have an interview. So that was they head to the stadium, and before the fight happened, let me tell you, we saw Chris Eubank Sr. walking in with Chris Eubank Jr. I don't care what you think. This is a rookie moment, and this was one of the greatest moments in British boxing, because trust me, that gave me goosebumps. And that moment right there, that is my rookie moment. And now we got to see the man that spent some time talking about how he's not agreeing with his son, talking about how he didn't really like to associate himself with his son's action, but we got to see him in flesh. And do you know what I like about that man? Is how of a showman that man is. And obviously, you know, he is a character, and that is what we like about you, sir. You stay how you are and never change, because that thing that you have, I call that swag. We love that about you. And as soon as he walked in, you could see Conor Benn and Nigel Benn watching. They was like, damn. And now I'm asking myself, Chris Eubank Jr. coming in with Chris Eubank Sr. Do you think that is a mind game? But hey, whatever you think, again, drop the comments below. I want to know your ringside opinion. But most important, we get to see the father and son reunite at this boxing match. And I feel like that really gave Chris Eubank Jr. that much confidence in winning this fight. So obviously we start the fight. This is something that I do not understand about Conor Benn's corner. Also, this is one of the biggest reasons why Conor Benn lost. And let me tell you, Chris Eubank Jr. is a very smart fighter and a boxer when they're in the ring. And Conor Benn is a smart fighter. So Conor Benn really wants to fight. Conor Benn want to come in front of you, punch you and knock you out. Chris Eubank Jr. is a boxer, which means he is going to use his left hand to control you as a boxer. And then when you pass here, this hand also have to stop you. And I was so surprised that no one in Conor Benn's corner gave him an advice on how to deal with that left hand. And you guys saw it. His jab was very effective. His left hand controlled the fight from the beginning of the round up to when he decided to trade with Conor Benn. And I was actually surprised. No one was like, hey, you need to turn it down and you need to neutralize that left hand and find a way to pass that. No one said that, but I don't know why. Another thing that I really admired about Chris Eubank Jr. that no one noticed is that when Chris Eubank Jr. was fighting Conor Benn, he knew Conor Benn is very emotional and an anger person. Hence why he was fighting with him and he's taunting with him. He's talking to him like, hey, I told you I'm going to knock you out. Now you see. And now Conor Benn wanted to really come back and fight. But what he forgot is that Chris was just level above him, and obviously we saw how that did play out. I'm gonna give credit to Conor Benn because that guy is very tough, and obviously Chris wanted to knock him out so bad, but it did not happen. But here's something that I'm going to say to you. Do we need to see the rematch? I would say yes and no. Here is the reason. So because there was a lot of rehydration, this weight BS that we didn't really think was good for Chris Eubank Jr.'s health, that have increased the gap on how long Conor Benn would survive in the ring. But if the rematch had no restriction or all this weight and rehydration, I feel like Chris would finish him in maybe the 4th or doesn't pass the 6th round. And the reason why I'm saying this is because style makes fight. Conor Benn, again, he will come in and just want to fight. I'm very strong. I can punch harder. But Chris Eubank is like, no, my style is I'm going to jab you, and then I'm going to control the fight with my left hand. And if you pass here, I will move back and then now protect myself and use my right hand. And listen, if Conor changed his style, that will be a very different fight for Chris Eubank Jr. But hey, I don't know what you guys think. Comment below and let me know if you want to see the rematch. Another thing that I want to say about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. is that stop undermining Chris Eubank Jr.'s win. Every video I'm seeing online, they're talking about, oh, Conor Benn's emotional reaction to Chris. No, Conor did not win this fight, and we need to stop giving fighter false confidence in making them believe that they can win. Is Conor a good kid? Yes, Conor is a good kid. Is Conor a drug cheat? Yes, Conor is a drug cheat. Is Conor a loser in the sense of Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn's match? Yes, Conor lost that match. So hey, let's be fair here. And some people still think Conor Benn won that match. Another thing that was very surprising, which came after watching a few interviews from Eddie Hearn, and he was like, oh, Frank Warren was congratulating me, everyone was telling me that you got it, well done, congratulations. Listen, we all know that Conor lost the fight. Yes, Conor was tough, but Conor did not win that fight.
To see now the response of basically him becoming the people's champion.
Can someone tell me why Eddie is undermining Chris Eubank Jr.'s win to the fact where he's calling Benn the people's champion? And when you deep it, Conor Benn is actually the people's champion. But if you ask yourself, who are those people? But let me tell you, and I'll be the first to tell you, he is a champion of those who fail to win. Because now, winners have their champion and losers have their champion. And Conor Benn, you are a champion. And if your audience continue to follow you, I don't really know what would happen. But let me say this. In my own dictionary, Chris Eubank Jr. is a real winner because all the odds were against him. We are talking about 100k for egg slap. Mind you, they could have charged 30, 40 or 50k, but they decided it's going to be a 100k fine. And I've never seen that in my recent learning and knowing about boxing. But one thing they forgot is that that egg slap did so much in fight promotion. That was number one. And number two, we're talking about you having to pay from your own money all the undercard from the previous fight, which they say it was a publicity stunt because they are trying to focus more on what you are doing wrong rather than the example that you are trying to set. Number three, we're talking about $500,000 or 300k British pounds for the weight thing, which was not even that much anyway, but you had to pay. On top of that, we're talking about the ring had to be a certain way because in their minds, they knew that Chris Eubank Jr.'s strength was in moving around, so we will stop him. And on top of that, the ring have to be the size that Conor Benn wanted, and the glove have to also have this horsehair thing that I don't even know who would think that would give him an advantage of winning. After all that, and all the slander that Chris Eubank Jr. went through, he had to win in the way that he won last night. Trust me, that is what a hero is for me, and that is what the people's champion is for me. And don't get me wrong, Conor Benn is a good fighter and Chris Eubank Jr. is an amazing boxer. Do I really want to see the rematch again? I would love to see the rematch only if Chris Eubank Jr. called the shots, because listen, we had all these things that Conor requested, and now it's time Chris Eubank Jr. takes over. And now you can stop mourning. You can go to daddy and give him a hug and tell him, daddy, I thought I was going to do it and I didn't. Hey, Chris Eubank Jr., you did amazing, and we are all behind you and we are so proud of you. Also, boxers and Ben Shalom, listen, you're a legend, man. You did it. They bullied you, but hey, we got to win. As I said, this was a very good boxing match, and I would like and would not like to see it again. depending on the rehydration clause and the weight cut that Chris Eubank Jr. have to go through. I'm gonna have to say this. Now, Chris Eubank Jr. called the shots, and if Conor need this, he's got to do things that Chris Eubank Jr. wants, because Chris Eubank Jr. did everything that Conor Benn wanted, including giving him the ring that he could not even win in.